If love is destined to be a tragedy, would you still choose to begin? Later, someone asked Yang Zhao, if you had known the ending would be like this, would you still have loved him? She didn't answer. But every year she goes to that place, bringing a bouquet of flowers, sitting there for an afternoon. That day, Yang Zhao was in her studio racking her brains over a piece of pottery when the phone rang. The call was from Yang Zhao's younger brother, Yang Jinchen. His tone was calm as he delivered the news. He was in the police station again. Yes, again. Yang Jinchen had been in and out of police stations so frequently that Yang Zhao barely even blinked when she heard the news. She asked her brother on the other end of the line, which one? Yang Jinchen said, Lingang Police Station. After hearing this, Yang Zhao put down the ceramic bowl in her hand, squinted and said into the phone, Lingang? How did you end up in the south part of the city? Yang Jinchen replied grumpily, I came to hang out with friends. Yang Zhao said, and then? Did you get into a fight at a restaurant? No. Just mentioning what happened made Yang Jinchen visibly agitated. He spoke with a very bad attitude. A friend drank too much, got into an argument with a taxi driver while hailing one, and then it turned physical. Yang Zhao said, Did you guys hit him? Is it serious? Yang Jinchen yelled angrily, We were the ones who got hit. Hurry up and get here. After shouting, he hung up the phone directly. Yang Zhao put down her phone and went to the sink to wash her hands clean. She put on her coat, opened her bag to check how much money she had, then tidied up a bit and went out. It was already past 8 in the evening and dark outside. When Yang Zhao walked out of the studio, a cold wind blew in her face, making her pull her clothes tighter. In the northern September, it was already starting to get chilly. Yang Zhao went to the garage to get her car. Sitting inside, she first lit a cigarette. The flame from the lighter flickered due to the draft from closing the car door, and Yang Zhao raised her hand to shield it. After taking a drag, Yang Zhao slowly exhaled the smoke, and the interior of the car filled with the smell of cigarettes. Yang Zhao liked smoking, especially Yunnan cigarettes. Da Cheng Yuchi was her favorite. Yang Zhao's home, car, and studio were all filled with cigarettes. She didn't start the car until her cigarette was half gone. Yang Zhao drove, moving swiftly yet smoothly along the second ring road. She opened the window a crack, letting the smoke drift out through the gap. The streets were brightly lit. Yang Zhao finished her cigarette quickly and stubbed it out. Only then did she start thinking about her brother Yang Jinchen's situation. Actually, he was a pitiful kid. 3 years ago, an accident had caused him to lose both parents. Yang Zhao's own parents had taken Yang Jinchen into their home to raise him. She had been away for so long that she couldn't even truly feel the pain of her aunt and uncle's tragedy. She was sad, but not to the point of agony. As for this younger brother, Yang Zhao was 7 years older than him, and their relationship wasn't exactly close. The way the Yang family interacted was polite but distant. Yang Zhao's impression of Yang Jinchen as a child wasn't profound. What truly etched this boy into her heart was precisely the funeral for her aunt and uncle's family. At that funeral, the 15-year-old boy cried as if his entire world had collapsed. The Yang family members were reserved with their emotions. Yang Zhao never knew that a man could be so utterly desperate. It was from that day on that Yang Zhao decided to stay. She didn't live with her parents but instead rented an apartment outside. She rented a 2-story place, using the lower floor for living and the upper floor for her work. Yang Zhao tried her best to take care of her younger brother. But right now, it didn't seem very effective. Due to the accident, Yang Jinchen had taken a year off from school. He was in his 3rd year of high school now, a critical period, but he wasn't serious about studying at all. Yang Jinchen attended the city's best high school. He had gotten in on his own merits. But shortly after the high school entrance exam, the accident happened, and he hadn't really applied himself to studying since. Neither Yang Zhao's parents nor Yang Zhao herself had earnestly tried to persuade Yang Jinchen to study hard. It was the Yang family's customary habit. If you're unwilling, no one can force you. But that didn't mean they were indifferent to him. In fact, Yang Jinchen was probably the person Yang Zhao cared about most in her life. She gave him a generous monthly allowance. She bought him many books, hoping he might one day emerge from his grief. She was also there whenever he needed her, appearing by his side. Just like now. Lincoln police station wasn't easy to find. Even with the help of GPS, Yang Zhao took many wrong turns before finally stopping in front of a small, shabby house at an intersection. The intersection was dimly lit, with only a single street lamp. In front of the police station were two beat-up police motorcycles and a taxi. Yang Zhao got out of the car and walked towards the station. As she passed the taxi, she glanced at its license plate number. J4763. It was a taxi just like any other. Yang Zhao looked at it only briefly before walking on. Entering the police station, there was no one at the entrance. The station's jurisdiction wasn't large anyway, and there were usually few visitors. Yang Zhao had walked deep inside before encountering the first person. It was a somewhat stout, middle-aged man with severe balding. Seeing Yang Zhao, he frowned and came over. "Who are you looking for?" Yang Zhao said to him, "I'm here for my younger brother. He called earlier saying he was here." The man went, a couple of times. Yang Zhao followed him up to the second floor. The man said as he walked, "Young people these days are so impulsive, getting into fights with taxi drivers. As a parent, you should really discipline them properly." Yang Zhao didn't say a word. The hallway was unusually quiet. The man turned back to glance at Yang Zhao. Her expression was blank. Feeling his comment had been ignored and somewhat embarrassing, he wanted to speak again. At that moment, Yang Zhao happened to look up and meet his eyes, making the man feel for an instant like he was the one sneakily staring at her. The man immediately turned his head back and continued leading the way, saying nothing more. His expression soured slightly. This woman made him feel very uncomfortable. He led Yang Zhao to the second floor. Several rooms had their lights on. The man took her to the room at the far end, pushed the door open, and called inside. "Old Wang, someone's here to claim someone." Yang Zhao entered the room and looked around. It seemed like a small office. There was a desk piled with miscellaneous items. Further along were two benches where 3 men and 1 woman sat, including Yang Jinshin. Among these 4 young people, only Yang Jinshin seemed to still have his wits about him. The rest were so drunk they were sprawled out asleep. The window was open, but the room still reeked heavily of alcohol. The policeman addressed as Old Wang came over. "Whose parent are you?" Yang Zhao didn't answer. Yang Jinshin frowned and shook off Yang Zhao's hand. Yang Zhao asked him, "Didn't you say you were hit? Where are you hurt?" Old Wang came over, trying to mediate. "Hurt?" His arm got grabbed a few times. Nothing serious. Hearing this, Yang Zhao reached out and pushed up Yang Jinshin's sleeve. Around his wrist was a red mark, somewhat swollen. Yang Jinshin pulled his arm back, annoyed. "I'm fine." Yang Zhao turned around, looking at Old Wang. "Where's the person who did the hitting?" Another policeman found Yang Zhao unpleasant, though she hadn't really done anything. But it was precisely this lack of action that made people feel she simply didn't acknowledge them. That policeman slammed a stack of documents he was holding onto the desk. The sound wasn't particularly loud, but it was enough to grab the attention of everyone in the room. He looked younger than the previous 2 policemen, under 30. His eyes were fixed on Yang Zhao as he pointed his finger at Yang Jinshin. Causing trouble while drunk. Picking a fight with an elderly woman over 80. What are you to him? Is this how you control them? Hey, Zhao Song, don't yell. Old Wang pushed down the pointing finger. It's not a big deal. Just take him home and discipline him properly. Yang Zhao stood in the center of the room, looking at the policeman named Zhao Song. Where's the person who did the hitting? Old Wang's hand stopped too. He turned his head to look at Yang Zhao. Zhao Song cursed under his breath. Old Wang pushed him down, then said to Yang Zhao, "Here's what happened. These kids were drinking heavily tonight and hailed a taxi to go home. But when the cab stopped, there was also an elderly woman who wanted a ride. The driver felt sorry for the old lady and wanted to take her instead. These kids, maybe because they were drunk and not thinking straight, absolutely refused to let her." Old Wang clapped his hands at this point. That's how it was. Then a small argument broke out. After listening, Yang Zhao looked at Old Wang and asked, Who hailed the taxi first? Old Wang said. What? Yang Zhao said. Who first signaled the car? Who first stopped this taxi? Well, Old Wang said with an awkward smile. Giving up your seat to an elderly person is the right thing to do, isn't it? No matter what, you shouldn't argue with someone over 80 for a taxi. Ah. Yang Zhao nodded slightly. So, you're saying my brother hailed the taxi first. Officer first come, first served. They hailed it first. They should get to ride first. Old Wang was starting to get a bit displeased hearing this. How are you talking? Arguing endlessly about such a small matter, is that necessary? Arguing with an 80-something-year-old lady over a seat. What's that? That's just being a scumbag. Yang Jinchen, who had been sitting with his head down, immediately stood up upon hearing this. Who the hell are you calling a scumbag? Who are you calling a scumbag? Xiao Song finally caught him standing up. He slammed his hand hard on the desk, eyes wide, pointing at Yang Jinchen. Sit down, you hear me? You want to be detained? Fuck. Yang Jinchen, emboldened by alcohol, flicked his sleeve and was about to charge forward. Yang Zhao stopped him. You. Sit down. Yang Jinchen tried to break free. Let go of me. You think I'm afraid of them? Let go, let go. Smack. Yang Zhao delivered a slap across his face. Everyone fell silent. Yang Jinchen's face was turned to the side, frozen stiff. A red mark slowly appeared on his cheek. Yang Zhao's voice remained calm and soft. Sit down. Leave the rest to your sister to handle. Yang Jinchen, perhaps reminded of something, had red-rimmed eyes. He buried his head and sat down. Yang Zhao couldn't tell if he was crying. Yang Zhao turned around, not looking at the two policemen, but instead towards another corner of the room. It was somewhat dim there. If you didn't look carefully, you'd almost miss the person standing against the wall. Yang Zhao looked at that person and said, The driver who did the hitting, that's you, isn't it? You're the driver who hit him, aren't you? When Yang Zhao said this, the two police officers were stunned for a moment. Old Wang was the first to react, putting on a smile as he looked at Yang Zhao and said, What? Hitting? It was just a little scuffle. How about we settle this privately? Yang Zhao didn't look at Old Wang. She kept her eyes on that shadow. Was it you who hit him? Officer Song frowned and said, What's your problem, lady? What are you playing at? Both parties are at fault here. Your brother started trouble while drunk. What more do you want? Yang Zhao turned to look at the young officer. Both parties at fault? Started trouble while drunk? Yang Zhao's tone was calm. They hit the car first. Is there a law that says you have to give way to people over 80? And who threw the first punch? As she spoke, she looked toward the person in the shadows. I know my brother. He might not give up his seat, but he would never throw the first punch. The others were too drunk to even stand straight. So I think you were the one who struck first. As for you two, Yang Zhao glanced at the two officers standing by the desk. I don't know why you keep siding with this driver, but trying to intimidate me won't work. If this driver doesn't compensate and apologize, then we'll meet in court. Yang Zhao's words had cut off all avenues of retreat, and the two officers were stumped. They seemed never to have encountered a woman who wouldn't accept either the soft or the hard approach. I hit him. How much do you want? The person in the corner finally spoke. His voice was low and steady. Yang Zhao said, Apologize and pay 5,000. Officer Song immediately protested. 5,000? For a red wrist? Are you trying to rip him off? Fine. Brother Sheng. Officer Song walked to the corner and said quietly to the man, They're clearly trying to scam you. You don't have to agree. I'll help you out. The man shook his head. No need, thank you both. He said to Yang Zhao, Could you give me a few days? I can't come up with that much money right now. Yang Zhao said, Then just apologize for now. The man was silent for a moment, then said softly, I'm sorry. Yang Zhao opened her mouth to say something else, but Yang Jinchen stopped her. Sis, forget it. Yang Zhao turned to look at him. Yang Jinchen hung his head, looking at his own fingers. Yang Zhao was quiet for a moment, then said to Old Wang, Can I take them away now? Old Wang also felt 5,000 was a bit much. He frowned and waved his hand. Go go! Wait! Just as Yang Zhao was about to lead Yang Jinchen and the others away, the man in the corner called out to her. Yang Zhao turned back and saw Officer Song handing her a slip of paper. Give me half a month and I'll pay you back. Yang Zhao glanced at Officer Song. This man had quite the influence, having a police officer deliver a note for him. She took the paper, saw a phone number on it, stuffed it into her pocket, and led the others away. On the way back, Yang Zhao put the 3 unconscious drunk young men in the back seat and had Yang Jinchen sit in the passenger seat. I'll take you to the hospital first. Yang Jinchen didn't refuse. His wrist really hurt. Yang Zhao rolled down the window a bit, but she didn't smoke. She always tried to smoke less when Yang Jinchen was around. Fighting with an 80-year-old lady over a seat, you're quite brave. I wasn't trying to fight. Then how did the fight start? It was that driver. Yang Jinchen frowned and said, that driver looked down on us. Yang Zhao said, with behavior like yours, it's not easy for people to think highly of you. He looked down on us from the very beginning. Yang Jinchen's voice rose. You don't know the way he looked at us like we were trash. Damn it! Yang Zhao didn't say anything more. Yang Jinchen turned his head to the side, staring at the road signs flashing by outside the car window. Yang Zhao drove to the nearest 3rd hospital. There were still many people at the hospital even at night. Yang Zhao told Yang Jinchen to wait in the car while she registered. Come on. Yang Zhao took Yang Jinchen to see the doctor. After the x-rays, they sat on a bench in the corridor outside the radiology department waiting for the results. During this time, Yang Zhao went to the restroom to smoke a cigarette. When the results came out, Yang Zhao took the lab report, glanced at it, then put it back and stood up, saying, soft tissue damage. This is minor injury. We're not settling privately anymore. I'm going to sue that driver. Sis. Yang Zhao turned around. Yang Jinchen was sitting on the bench. He looked at Yang Zhao and said quietly, forget it. Don't go after him. How did he hit you? Did he use a tool? I said forget it. Yang Jinchen yelled. People in the corridor all looked their way. Yang Jinchen lowered his head, his young frame looking particularly fragile. Yang Zhao walked over and gently held his head. Yang Jinchen struggled for a moment, then finally gave up and leaned into Yang Zhao's embrace. She could feel her brother trembling slightly. Sis, am I trash? Yang Jinchen finally burst into tears. Yang Zhao took a deep breath and said softly, no, Zhaoshen. You just haven't woken up yet. Yang Jinchen cried out loud. I don't want to be like this either, sis, I really don't. I can't help it. Yang Zhao stroked her brother's hair, comforting him quietly. That night, it was already the early hours of the morning by the time Zhao had safely dropped everyone off at their homes. Yang Zhao's parents asked why Yang Jinchen's hand was injured, and she covered for him, saying he'd fallen on some steps on his way back to school. By the time Yang Zhao got back to her apartment, she was so tired she lay down directly on the sofa, falling asleep without even taking off her clothes or shoes. Gradually, she lifted her head and fumbled in her bag for her phone. The screen showed the caller's name, Zhu Miao. Yang Zhao turned over on the sofa and answered. Hello. Sounds so weak, you're not up yet. Yang Zhao didn't answer him and said, what's up? Something wrong? Zhu Miao said, how's the restoration coming along? Yang Zhao said, that damn bowl is so broken, it's practically in pieces. How do you think it's coming along? Zhu Miao laughed on the other end. Yang Zhao heard a crisp sound over the phone, like utensils scraping against a porcelain plate. She asked him, you're eating? Yeah. Zhu Miao forked a piece of beef. Don't let it break. If it breaks, my heart breaks too. Yang Zhao chuckled and said, give me another month. I'll give you 50 days. Zhu Miao swallowed the beef and said magnanimously, I know restoration can't be rushed. You can take your time. Okay. Zhu Miao continued, hey, why don't you come back here? The working environment is much better than there, and I can assign you some assistance. No need. Yang Zhao put her other hand over her eyes, blocking the sunlight streaming in through the window. Too many people. Too much noise. I like working alone. Fine. Whatever you prefer. Zhu Miao laughed. Work hard. Yan Zhao murmured a faint acknowledgement, exchanged a few more words and hung up. Yan Zhao lazed on the sofa for a while longer, then got up, stripped off her clothes and took a shower. Afterwards, she felt noticeably more comfortable. She called to order takeout, then went to her study to read while waiting. Yang Zhao's study was very large. When she moved in, she had purposely kept the biggest room for this purpose. The study was a mess, with books and materials piled up everywhere. Her reading was eclectic, and she couldn't be bothered to categorize them. All the books were stacked together. On the wall of Yang Zhao's study hung a silk painting. It looked quite old. At the very bottom of the painting was a carp, and the upper part was mostly empty space. Yang Zhao's seat was right in front of this painting. She put on her glasses, picked up a book at random, and paused as she opened it, remembering something. She picked up her phone and called the takeout place she'd just ordered from. Hello, this is the customer from Huican Golden Residence who just ordered takeout. Has the delivery been sent out yet? Okay, could you add a bottle of water for me, a large one? All right, thank you. Putting down the phone, Yang Zhao opened her book and started reading. The clock in the room hung on the wall by the door, its hands ticking away. This apartment complex was considered one of the city's more upscale ones, set deep within its grounds, so you rarely heard traffic noise from the street outside. Sunlight filtered in through the gaps in the window. The room was so quiet it seemed devoid of any living thing. After a while, the doorbell rang. Yang Zhao stretched her neck, marked her page, and set the book aside. Opening the door, she saw a young girl delivering the takeout. Hello, are you Miss Yang? Yes. Here's your order, that'll be 78 yuan total. Yang Zhao took a 100 yuan note from her wallet and handed it to the girl, who bent her head to count out the change. Yang Zhao took the food inside first. The girl handed the change to Yang Zhao and said, Miss Yang, it seems you order takeout from our place quite often. Yang Zhao smiled at her. Is that so? You remember me? The girl said, Well, Miss Yang, our restaurant currently has a promotion. If you get a membership card, all dishes are 12% off. Oh, the girl quickly added, but this promotion is only for takeout orders. It doesn't apply if you eat in the restaurant. Yang Zhao said, How much for the membership card? The girl said, The minimum recharge is 300 yuan. Yang Zhao thought for a moment and said, All right, I'll get one. Wait here for me. She turned back into the apartment and came back with 300 yuan. The girl, clearly happy that she had managed to sign up a member so easily, beamed. Miss Yang, the dishes at our place are really a good deal. Yang Zhao smiled faintly. The girl jotted down Yang Zhao's information and then said, Miss Yang, I don't have the physical membership card on me. I need to input your member information into the card. Would you like to come to the store to pick it up, or should I bring it next time I deliver? Yang Zhao said, Bring it next time. The girl smiled and said, Okay then, goodbye Miss Yang. After seeing off the enthusiastic delivery girl, Yang Zhao returned to the living room. She opened the takeout containers, put a few in the refrigerator, and ate the rest for breakfast. Yang Zhao hadn't left her house for 3 days. She vaguely felt she might spend the rest of her life with this broken bowl. Her restoration work was more than half done. This bowl had kept her company for 2 months. Actually, strictly speaking, the bowl wasn't particularly valuable, a few tens of thousands at most. Yet Zhu Miao was willing to spend over 100,000 to restore it. 2 months ago, Zhu Miao had come to her with this badly damaged pottery bowl, asking for her help. At the time, she was working on a Ming Dynasty landscape painting he'd given her earlier. Yang Zhao glanced at the bowl and said to Zhu Miao, Your taste is really declining. Zhu Miao walked into the living room. In his suit and leather shoes, he'd rushed for 2 days straight, flying from California to this small northern Chinese city. He was exhausted, but he always paid attention to his appearance. He sat gracefully on the living room sofa. Sometimes, you can't judge the value of something by its surface. Yang Zhao put down her small brush and turned to look at Zhu Miao. Are you trying to tell me there is a treasure map to some ancient tomb hidden in this bowl? Zhu Miao tilted his head back and laughed. Xiao Zhao, I love your sense of humor. Yang Zhao couldn't be bothered with him. She turned back to work. Zhu Miao stood up and walked behind Yang Zhao. He raised one hand and gently grasped her wrist. This gesture was worth examining. In her peripheral vision, Yang Zhao could see Zhu Miao's long fingers with well-defined knuckles. Expressionless, she glanced at it and said, "In our line of work, grabbing someone's hand is the worst taboo." Yang Zhao shot him a look, especially while working. Zhu Miao shrugged innocently. Yang Zhao put down her small brush and straightened up to face him. "All right, what's going on?" Zhu Miao looked down at Yang Zhao. "It's a long story. Then make it short." Zhu Miao talked for quite a while, and Yang Zhao got the gist. Actually, stripping away Zhu Miao's embellished, sentimental depiction, the story could be summed up in one sentence. This bowl belonged to Zhu Miao's grandmother. And during an argument between Zhu Miao and his wife, it unfortunately became an object of vented anger. To others, this might seem strange. Although the bowl wasn't any famous cultural relic, it was still an antique. If you're going to smash something to vent anger, you'd think you'd pick something worthless instead. This couldn't be blamed on Zhu Miao. Yang Zhao had once been to Zhu Miao's hillside villa. Even the spittoon in his house was priceless. So smashing a pottery bowl during an argument was actually well thought out. It's broken, so it's broken. Just compensate her with something more valuable. No. Zhu Miao shook his head. My lovely Xiao, you're still too young. You don't understand that the truly valuable thing in this world is actually feelings. That pottery bowl carried most of my grandmother's life's emotions. It's priceless. Yang Zhao said, "Oh," then added, "So you smashed it." Zhu Miao was momentarily speechless. That was an accident. Everyone gets emotional. And when emotions run high, smashing anything isn't surprising. Yang Zhao said, "How come you didn't accidentally smash that jade vase in your bedroom?" In Zhu Miao's bedroom stood a Qing dynasty jade vase with animal mask designs. It was Zhu Miao's latest prized possession, and he was crazy about it. Zhu Miao said, "She and I are in the honeymoon phase. You can't expect me to be a cruel man." Yang Zhao laughed coldly. "There are plenty of restorers. Don't expect me to give up this painting to fix that unprofitable bowl." Zhu Miao smiled gently. "No matter how many restorers there are, you're the only one I trust. You know I have a cleanliness obsession. I don't like random people touching my things." Yang Zhao crossed her arms and looked at him coolly. "Zhu Miao, 200,000. Yang Zhao raised an eyebrow. That offer was very high, much higher than the painting she was working on. Looks like this bowl really is important. Zhu Miao shook his head painfully. "My grandmother is almost 90. I'm afraid she couldn't handle the shock. Then I'd be the family's disgrace." Yang Zhao said, "I had a vacation." When it came to negotiating, Zhu Miao's shrewd gaze returned. "Vacation? You want a vacation? You know how fierce the competition is for antique auctions this year. The market is so good and you want a vacation at a time like this? Xiao, don't be so cruel." Yang Zhao said, "I haven't had a vacation in 2 years." Zhu Miao said, "What do you need a vacation for? I've never seen you go anywhere for fun." Yang Zhao was quiet for a moment, then said, "I need this vacation. My brother is in his 3rd year of high school this year. He'll take the college entrance exam next year, but he's not prepared. I need to find time to talk with him." Zhu Miao said, "How long do you need?" Yang Zhao said, 2 months. 2 months. Zhu Miao took a deep breath and commented, "That really is quite a lengthy conversation." Yang Zhao said, 2 months. If you won't give it, find someone else to do the repairs." Zhu Miao paced around the living room, finally leaning against the counter. 150,000, plus 2 months vacation. Yang Zhao narrowed her eyes. "You profiteer." Zhu Miao smiled faintly. "You're not good at negotiating. What you want is too obvious. I'd bet even if I didn't pay you a cent, as long as I gave you 2 months vacation, you'd still repair it for me." Yang Zhao turned away, ignoring him. Zhu Miao walked behind Yang Zhao. With his tall mixed-race build, he gently enveloped her in his arms. "But I'll still pay you, Zhao. I'm a generous man." Zhu Miao wore expensive cologne, very subtle, but it lingered around him. Yang Zhao turned around in his arms, placed her finger on his chest, and pushed him away. I hope you can be just as generous with your wife. Zhu Miao chuckled softly. It's not that I'm not generous, Zhou Zhao. Arrogance and self-righteousness are white people's nature. I have a generational gap with them. Yang Zhao laughed dryly twice and said nothing more. Fortunately, Zhu Miao was tired. He walked to the wine rack, picked up a bottle, and examined it. Can I drink this? Yang Zhao said, help yourself. Zhu Miao said okay, then opened the wine. He showered first, then came out, had a glass of wine, and gradually went into the guest room to sleep. Ever since Yang Zhao moved here, whenever Zhu Miao came to see her, he never stayed in hotels but directly at her place. Speaking of which, after Zhu Miao delivered this bowl, he returned to America the next day, though he maintained calls every 2 days, tracking the bowl's restoration progress from all angles. Yang Zhao yawned and looked up. Outside, it was already dark. The weather was gloomy today. Although it was only 6 o'clock, the sky looked as dark as midnight. Putting the bowl back together wasn't difficult. The hard part was making it perfect. Zhu Miao didn't want his grandmother to know this bowl had once been smashed to pieces like street trash, which required Yang Zhao to be exceptionally careful when repairing the surface. The phone rang. Yang Zhao answered. It was the courier. Unlike her studio in America, where many materials were readily available, here she had to call them each time to prepare things and mail them back. On the phone, the courier told Yang Zhao that since it was already late, they weren't making deliveries anymore. If she wanted it delivered, she'd have to wait until tomorrow. Yang Zhao didn't want to wait. She urgently needed the pigment to repair the patterns on the bowl's rim, so she decided to pick it up herself. She got dressed, grabbed her bag, and went out. The moment Yang Zhao stepped out of her apartment building, the sky flashed white, followed by a thunderclap that shook the heavens. Massive raindrops began pounding down one by one. In the blink of an eye, the rain intensified. Yang Zhao stood at the entrance for a moment, then turned back inside to get an umbrella before charging into the rain. She didn't take her own car. Huican Golden Tower wasn't close to the courier pickup point, and part of the route was under construction through a low-lying area. If the rain kept coming down like this, her car might not make it through. She hailed a taxi at the entrance. Ch3 Courier Service Point. The driver started the meter and headed toward their destination. Raindrops hammered against the windshield with a loud noise. The driver sounded worried. If it keeps raining like this, the underpass will flood soon. It'll get difficult. Yang Zhao hummed in acknowledgement. Driver, please hurry if you can. I'd like to hurry too, but how can I end this? The rain grew heavier. Yang Zhao began to regret her decision to go out. But she still desperately wanted those materials. Finally, one intersection short of their destination, the driver stopped. No can do. I can't go any further. I'll have to turn here. Miss, you'll have to get out. You don't need to pay. Yang Zhao said nothing, paid the fare as usual, and got out. The moment she opened the door, rain splashed into her face. Before Yang Zhao could even open her umbrella, the taxi had already driven off. The wind was fierce, rain flying everywhere. Having an umbrella or not made little difference. Within half a minute, Yang Zhao was soaked through. Braving the violent storm, Yang Zhao arrived at the courier station. The staff were already preparing to close up when they saw a dark figure rush in and jumped in surprise. Yang Zhao closed her umbrella. I'm here to pick up a package. A female staff member stared at her, incredulous. Coming out in weather like this? You must really need it. Yang Zhao nodded. It's an international shipment. The staff member led her to the room where packages were kept. There weren't many international items, and Yang Zhao quickly found hers. A box not small. Yang Zhao filled out the receipt form, then carried the box outside. Just holding the box was difficult enough, let alone trying to manage an umbrella too. Yang Zhao sighed, first setting the box down at the entrance before going out to hail a taxi. The rain was so heavy she could barely open her eyes. Yang Zhao stood at the intersection, watching the passing vehicles. She kept her hand raised, but nobody stopped. Soaked through, Yang Zhao held her umbrella in front of her face, no longer caring about the rest of her body. A couple of cars finally passed by, but when the drivers heard she was heading toward Waken, they all shook their heads. That underpass is already flooded. It's a mess over there. Can't go that way now. Yang Zhao hugged herself tightly. Autumn in the north was already cold. Drenched by rain and buffeted by strong winds, she couldn't help but sneeze. Just as she was nearly in despair, another car stopped in front of her. The window rolled down, and the driver paused for a moment upon seeing her. Yang Zhao's lips were turning purple from the cold. She asked the driver, "Sir, Waken Golden Tower, will you go?"